Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the law of attraction, manifesting success stories show comes in. If you are ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello, and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am back with the amazing Kimberly for interview number 4. Welcome, Kimberly.
I am so excited to be here. I cannot believe it's interview number 4.
I know, right? I am so excited. It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Well, what's awesome? Let's start with that. There's so much to talk about. I just want to get there fast, but let's talk about what's awesome right now in this moment.
Oh, right now in this moment, I did my new total and I was blown away. We're at $80,000, or I am at $80,030.34. And I'm like, whoa, and that's like 5,000 of it was like, I was like, where did that come from?
Yay.
So that was fun. Yes.
Awesome.
And then what else is awesome is I have really noticed that I am stepping into my future self and owning who she is. And she whispers a lot. And I'm hearing those whispers and following that inspired action, which has been just amazing. So much fun.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Any whispers that would be cool to share, or anything surprising about sort of following that path?
Yeah. So I jumped on, somebody was having a launch party on Facebook. And so I jumped on and to be supportive. And I ended up by the end of her launch party signing up to become a Mary Kay consultant. And I laugh because never in a million years would I have thought that I would say, hey, I'm a Mary Kay consultant. So it was one of those things where I'm like, it was just a yes. Like there was no question. I was completely inspired and I just said yes. And so I said yes, and it's been amazing. I don't even know. I'd have to look at like the dates or whatever, but I'm going to say like the last 2 to 3 weeks is when I officially signed up.
Yeah.
I have 2 new consultants. I'm doing my makeup. I'm talking about lip gloss. I'm talking about things that I'm just like, is this really me? So, yeah, it's been totally unexpected and totally inspired because just saying yes to something that was inspired.
Yeah.
It was that simple. It was that easy. And I'm having fun.
Yes. And making money. Part of that $80,000 total is that, right?
Yes. Like today I got a $50 bonus just for having a new consultant. I got $206 of free product. And I got earrings in the mail from my director saying you can do it. And so, yeah, it's just been so amazing. And one of the things I want to share here about all of this is that I was scripting about working with amazing, empowering women. And of course, I had the Enchanted Circle, so I kind of had a leg up anyway.
Yes.
But my director and the women that I am working with through Mary Kay are all so supportive and empowering. And it's just like, I have all these new girlfriends that I never had before. And that's what I was scripting too. So it's like so many things from my script came in that Mary Kay package by me saying yes and following that inspired action.
Yes, which is amazing, especially because it's not something that was ever on your radar. You've never thought about it before, but you got led there. Your future self led you there. And you said yes. You listened and you opened that door without hesitation and just said yes.
Yes.
I love it. And I love how it's also given you this experience of this future self experience of talk about making money at the while watching your son play football.
Yeah. So I actually launched my Mary Kay business during my son's first varsity football game. So I was sitting on the outside of the fence with my phone, launching my business and watching him play football, the very first game, all at the same time. And I was like, this is crazy, but I was enjoying life and making money at the same time. I could not have pictured or imagined that for myself, like planned it any better. So I just, yeah, sitting at a football game, launching my Mary Kay business. And I still laugh about it. And even my friends and family are like, where are you at? What are you doing? And so I'm posting in my launch party, way to go, Dylan.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and they're cheering for him as I'm launching my business, and she's talking about what product to put on your face next. So it was fun and it was easy. So
And you.
yeah, yes, totally me.
Yeah, which I think is key, is that you have, I think you were already doing that before the Enchanted Circle, but I think it has grown to a new level where you can show up as you. And, because listeners might be like, well, I wish I could launch a party during a football game, but I could never because somebody said no. Somebody said you have to be focused. Somebody said this. Somebody, like all of these things. I'm not implying that you weren't focused, but I think that's a very, like it's a belief out there, like, oh, you have to just be doing this one thing. You
Yes.
can't be like enjoying your life and launching your business, which is so far from the truth.
Exactly. So I actually yesterday I did a live video and I talked about you know, all the different things that I do. And I've lost weight this last year and the health products that I'm using. And so I combined the health part of it, my creative, that part of my business, and then of course I'm doing the nail thing and now Mary Kay. And I just really was like, I'm doing it all because it's inspired and it's fun. And I even said in my video, when it's not fun anymore, I'm probably not going to do it. But thanks for joining me on the journey anyway.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, and I don't know that I definitely would not have believed that I could do all the different things. I had put myself in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And when you said, focusing like on one thing, like I needed to be at my launch party or I needed to be at the football game, that was no longer like a belief that I had to be one or the other.
Yeah.
I could totally be in both places at the same time, doing what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And so that's just like, yeah, I'm still amazed and I'm still like basking in the glow of being there and doing that.
Yes, it's so easy.
So
It's
easy.
so fun and freeing, which makes it easy.
Yes.
But yeah, freedom is actually what I meant to say, but easy is awesome too.
Yeah. All of it, all of the above.
All of the above is awesome. Oh,
Yes.
I love that. Amazing. All right. So I want to step a little bit into how you got here, because I think it's not sometimes, I think listeners or people that follow me for a while, and I'd love to hear the difference. I'm going to add this question on the end of it, is how you thought it would go versus how it's gone. But a lot of listeners, sometimes they think like, oh, okay, I script and then it happens, which is what happened. But there's this middle part where we had to let go of this habit of sort of trying to figure out what's wrong. And we, instead of, we had to get you away from fixing and stepping into your future self instead. And so define for me and our listeners the difference between fixing and stepping into your future self, as you would say it.
Okay. So my old story would be that I analyze things, which that's the sneaky way of me working out how to fix something.
Mm-hmm.
And we went back and forth with this a couple different times. It took me a moment to kind of make the connection
Mm-hmm.
of when I don't analyze, I'm not trying to fix something.
Yes.
And so for me, stepping into my future self was actually just showing up and doing the assignments, not
Mm-hmm.
analyzing whether I was doing them perfectly or if I was saying the right things, but showing up and doing my assignments. And scripting for me has, I've had those moments where, oh, did I write that right? Or I was putting in too much I was doing how, like trying to fix it and force it. And that doesn't work at all. So, and thankfully, Cassie's amazing at at seeing when you're doing that and saying, okay, let's step back for a minute and let's do it this way, which is the way that, I wouldn't say it's the right way. It's the way that you have found that works. And so I was also open to being coached. I think that makes a huge difference. I'm coachable. So I went back to my scripting and just keeping it the way that I was taught to do it. And
Mhm.
so stepping into myself was so much easier because I was just doing it. Like,
Mhm.
I wasn't trying to figure out how to do it. I was doing it. I don't know if that really explains it.
I think so, and I'll maybe give a little bit
Okay.
of listeners because I get it, right? So you were in this habit, and actually, before we even do that, I want to take one step back. I think the fixing and the analyzing is what got you enough growth to get here. So I usually talk about and I tell people like there are phases and there is a point where we need to analyze and look at like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? But there comes a point where we can't fix ourselves into growing anymore. We've done all the fixing we can do. It's like, you have to mix up the batter for a cake or cookies, right? At some point you have to put them in the oven, right? You can't just keep
Yeah.
mixing up ingredients.
Yes.
That won't get you to a finished product. And so, if we're
And I was
using that,
mixing.
yes, you just kept mixing and mixing, and we need to at some point bake it, right? Which is doing the future self work. But that fixing is an important part, and I think got you to where you were when you started. It got you healed enough to grow enough, however you would put it, to where you were open and ready for this next step, which
Yes.
is really stepping into your future self. And the old habit that we had to sort of break was, yes, the assignments are just written out, and there can be a tendency to look at like, am I doing it right? Or analyzing it. Is this going to get what I want? Should I be doing it different? If I want this, should I say this, right? Versus just
Yeah.
sitting down and doing the assignment.
Yes. Exactly. Like, if I added it in this way, am I going to get it faster?
Yes.
Yeah. So yes.
Yeah, which is awesome. And you've really come to learn, I can see it more and more every day, like how to step into your future self, how to turn that analyzing part off and go, it doesn't matter. What do I want? Where am I going? How does this connect to my future self?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, excuse me, I like the whole Mary Kay thing is
Mhm.
a perfect example, because if you had asked me, I'd have been like, no way ever would I be selling Mary Kay. Um, Yet we talked about, because I kept asking the same question,
Mhm.
and then finally it clicked, and it's like, does it feel inspired? And so when I trust when something isn't inspired, and don't get me wrong, I still
It's a
like
learning.
yesterday, I still asked the question yesterday about inspired. But for this, the Mary Kay thing was totally inspired. I
Mhm.
didn't question it. There was a whisper, and I just said yes. And it was amazing all that's unfolded from that.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, stepping into trusting, that's been huge for me, but trusting my future self, which
Mhm.
might sound really strange to some people who might be listening, but I truly am trusting her to guide me to what it is, creating that magical life that I script about.
Yes.
So, yeah,
I
I hope
love
that made
that.
sense.
Yeah, it totally did.
Okay.
And so I want to come back to that first question I said I would ask. So how is, now that you've been through the process of, the workshop and scripting, how is that different than you thought it would go, or how you thought because you had followed me for a long time,
Yeah.
what you thought I meant by step into your future self or script your future life? How has it been different than what you thought it was or what you should do?
So I thought scripting was forcing what I wanted on the universe in writing.
I love that definition.
That's exactly what I thought scripting was. It was putting in writing, this is what I want, and this is how you're going to deliver it to me. And so it wasn't leaving any doors open. So it's kind of like, I was cutting off my nose before I even gave the universe an opportunity to bring me what I was asking for.
Yes.
So that is what has shifted, because, and you're right, I have followed you for years. And then I finally got off the fence and jumped in like both feet to join the
Mhm.
Enchanted Circle. And I couldn't wait to get to, and don't get me wrong, Manifest 10K was amazing because
Mhm.
I'm still a money magnet. $80,000.
Yep.
Wow. But when I took that first Future Self workshop and learned about scripting, I was like, oh, wow, okay. So this is totally not how I had thought scripting would be or what it looked like. This is more about allowing the universe to deliver all of the things that I want to live a magical life. And honestly, the universe delivers in way better ways than I could ever imagine for myself, like ever. Because again, I never imagined Mary Kay.
Right? I had this vision of, and I don't remember if we talked about it in an interview, but like, oh yeah, you probably thought you needed to sell like 10,000 t-shirts.
Yeah.
Right? Like, which you
Yeah.
don't like doing.
Right.
They're fine if you like doing them, but I just had this vision of you thinking like, yeah, if I can just sell 10,000 t-shirts, I'll get there. But it's really being there and allowing the universe to show you things that you would never see.
Yes, exactly. So it's so different and so much better doing it your way than it was doing it my way. I'm so much better at getting what I want.
That's awesome.
Yes. So I'm so glad I do it the Cassie Parks way because
Yay.
it definitely is a game changer.
Yeah. How does it feel to get what you want so often?
Wow.
Or all the time? We could say all the time, either way.
Yeah. So it's like, this is going to sound really funny, but I actually pinch myself because I'm like, I pinch myself and I'm like, this really happening? Oh my gosh, this is really happening. Oh my gosh, the universe is amazing. I'm getting exactly what I want. And sometimes it shows up in forms that, again, I couldn't have imagined for myself,
Mhm.
but it's getting what I want because truly at the end of the day, and you reminded me of this not too long ago, it's not all the things that I want.
Mhm.
The things are the bonus, but
Mhm.
it's the deep happiness that I feel
Yeah.
every single day. That's priceless. Like I couldn't put a price tag on that. And
Mhm.
so my favorite word is magical. And so it's definitely magical.
It is magical.
Yeah.
I love it. I want to shift gears for a second because
Okay.
I think what I know about you is that you were an amazing mom before the Enchanted Circle, but I think you would say, or would you say, that you've even grown as a mom and become a better mom in the Enchanted Circle?
Oh yeah. Um, I love my kids. Like I have 3 boys and they are my world. And so as a mom, you want to make sure that they know that they're loved and that they never have a hurt and that they have everything they ever want. And so I usually try to lead by example for my boys.
Mhm.
So I had a huge aha moment during a phone call because of what was going on in our lives. And I learned in the Enchanted Circle that one of the things when we're going through something, you know, you always say, go feel your feelings. And sometimes we're like, yeah, I knew that. That was going to be the answer. Okay, fine.
I know,
Um,
but you all check just to make sure. I might have a different answer. I get it.
yeah.
Like sometimes I want a different answer too.
Yeah. I'm like, are you sure, Cassie? There's not something else I can do? Yeah. But no, it's usually go feel your feelings. And so I had learned that. Yet what I hadn't learned was to give space or allow the people in my life to feel their feelings.
Mhm.
And I remember this day like it was yesterday. My son was angry and I jumped on the call and I was like, Cassie, I don't know how to help him. Like I don't want him to be hurt. I don't want him to be angry. I want to take all that stuff away. I'm his mom. I'm supposed to be able to fix things. And there's that key word again.
Right?
Mom's trying to fix it. Um, and so what I learned that day was that I was able to go back to him and say, Zach, you're angry. You're allowed to be angry. Feel your feelings. If you're angry, then be angry. It is not my place to tell you not to be angry.
Mhm.
And then, it really shifted, I think, our relationship. And I'm doing this with any of my boys now when, moving
Mhm.
forward, having that conversation that if they are angry, to allow them to be angry instead of trying to fix it and make it go away, because
Mhm.
it's teaching them that they're allowed to feel what they feel.
Yeah.
So
Which
yeah,
is
I definitely a better mom.
that is so huge.
Yes.
Because you were
So,
doing what I think most moms do, right?
mhm,
Is trying to lessen that, like explaining for someone else's behavior, trying to take it away. And yeah, the best gift we can give them is to teach them it's okay to be angry
yes,
or feel however they feel.
exactly. And
Yeah.
again, it's like here, and I am a great mom,
Hmm.
but now I'm an even better mom because I feel my feelings, and now I know that I can allow them to feel their feelings, and I can be supportive in that way.
Hmm.
Um, and they can work through whatever it is that they're feeling in that moment a lot faster because that's what I've learned. And I don't have to fix it. I just have to
Yeah.
feel it. And so, yeah, that was a huge, huge, like, again, huge is like a really, like, that's not the word, but it was just such a big aha, like, wow. Yeah. So definitely growing myself in that way,
Hmm.
and then being able to share that with my boys that was an amazing day. So,
That's
yeah.
amazing. I love it. And I want to share one other story about one of your sons. You sort of, this was a little bit after that, and you came, um, you used the word crushed because he was not going to spend time with someone in his life, a
Yeah.
family member. And you were like, I'm crushed that that's happening. And we worked through it. And
Yes.
I showed you how you'd been an example of knowing your value.
Yes.
Um, and we got you to being proud. Do you want to tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about that?
Yes. So, and I'll just go ahead and share, because this may come up in another interview, but
Yeah.
so my husband and I had been separated, like he had
Mhm.
moved out. And so that's that my son was struggling with that and having some anger issues, and I was trying to fix it and make everybody happy. And um, so there was a comment made to me that, you know, he can spend time with other people, speaking about his father, but he can't spend time with me.
Mhm.
And again, I made that comment. I was crushed that he felt that way. And I wanted to, one, make it better for my husband, make it better for my son. And what I realized was that, um, 2 years ago, I made the comment I wasn't going to chase people to be in my life.
Mhm.
And that evidently my son heard that because he basically said the same thing to me that day about the relationship with his father. If he doesn't want to spend time with me, then I'm done, basically.
Mhm.
I want to spend time with people that want to spend time with me. Like, it's not worth my effort. And I was crushed, but then I recognized with, being coached with Cassie that day that my son values his boundaries
Mhm.
and he is not going to chase people who don't want to spend time with him. How smart is that at 17 years old? So
Right?
yeah, I went from being a crushed mom to a really proud mom that he had learned that at such a young age.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I was like, wow, my kid really has his shit together. I'm like, he won't be 45 getting his shit together.
Yes, because he has your example.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so my kids do see, you know, the effort that I have, invested in myself, whether it's
Mhm.
my health or my mindset by being coached and all those. So they do see me and they do watch. And so it's always amazing to me when I get those moments to share in, wow, they get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just wow. Yeah. So I'm definitely a proud mom.
Yay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
As we wrap up today, any cool evidence or it's happening or any other cool LOA things that you want to share?
So yeah, you mentioned before we started the interview. So sometimes I'm always like, I find pennies everywhere I go.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you remembered this.
Um, so I had these new sandals, and it seems like no matter where I go, I get a pebble in them. And so I'm walking through this huge parking lot at the grocery store, and I get a pebble, and I stop. And if I hadn't stopped right then and there to get the pebble out of my shoe, I wouldn't have found the quarter that was waiting for me right there on the ground in the parking lot.
Yes.
So if you ever have a pebble, stop and get it out, because there might be a quarter or maybe $100 bill. Who knows?
Right?
Yeah.
And I just love, because that's such a great, simple but great example of how the universe works, and kind of wraps around to what we're talking about in the beginning. You know, whatever it is to get our attention, right? It might be creating a pebble so we can get the quarter, right? Or, going and saying yes to something that we never expected to. Like, we can't plan how this stuff happens,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, you definitely can't plan it.
that was awesome. That's one of my favorite stories about finding money, because it's just so, we often get annoyed at that, right? It's like, oh, but it's like, no, like, we're being led. Like, what if we just assumed everything was leading us?
Yeah.
And we're like looking around, for the money. I don't think you were annoyed, just people in general sometimes, can get distracted by that, when what's happening is we're being led.
Yes. Well, and I've taken it even one step further, because I've heard you talk about that and some other people in the Enchanted Circle. So if I get like behind, I live in a small town, and
Mhm.
so there's tractors. So sometimes I get stuck behind a tractor, and I'm like, I wonder what the universe is bringing me today.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Obviously it's bringing the world. I think I have corn around me, soybeans, so the farmer's working.
Yeah.
Um, so it's definitely not just about me. It's definitely, about the universe getting what it needs. So yeah, but I do that now when I get stuck in traffic, or whatever it might be that most people would
Mhm.
consider an inconvenience. I'm like, I wonder what's around the next corner. So it's kind of become a game, and it's fun. So then you don't get, the frustrated feelings of, hey, I got a pebble in my shoe and I got to stop and get it out. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
Yay. Oh, I love that.
fun.
Yes, it is so fun.
Yeah.
Well, tell everyone how they can connect with you and find out what awesome stuff you're up to.
Okay. So right now I'm working like 4 different businesses, and I'm mainstreaming them.
Yay.
Yes, it's exciting. So you can currently find me at www.spunkycraftstudio.com. That website will be coming down because I'm going to revamp it and make it more me. But you can definitely find me there, or you can also email me at spunkycraftstudio@gmail.com. And of course,
Yay.
Facebook.
I love it. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to share as we wrap up today's interview?
um, this is my 4th interview. I lost track of what the count was, and I can't wait to hear the playback of, hearing my growth, through this
Mhm.
this whole series. But one thing that I really, and I say your name all the time, Cassie, even in my live video yesterday, um, is that if you're sitting on a fence wondering whether or not working with Cassie and being a part of the Enchanted Circle is for you, I say jump in both feet and get started today, because it is life changing, and it is truly a blessing. And I'm sincerely grateful for Kathy and the Enchanted Circle, because it's filled with amazing women.
Yay, that's awesome. And we're so grateful for you. And we're so grateful for all of you listening. Make sure to come back and check out what's amazing in Kimberly's life next time. I love helping people manifest money, because when you're learning to use the law of attraction, money is such a great tool. It gives such instant feedback. There's so many opportunities to see how the energy is flowing through you and where you might be getting tripped up or not allowing it to come in. So if you've had trouble manifesting in the past, you might want to use money as a way to learn how to use the law of attraction. Now, I have helped thousands of people manifest millions of dollars using my system Manifest 10K. And now I would love to invite you to join me complimentary
and pay based on your success. You heard me right. You can join, get access to my very successful program, the Enchanted Circle, and most of all, my coaching for when you get stuck. And then you can pay me 10% of what you manifest after you're successful. If this sounds good to you, go to payafteryoumanifest.com to apply. That's payafteryoumanifest.com.
Thank you for joining us on the Law of Attraction Manifesting Success Stories show. To learn more about enrolling in the Enchanted Circle, go to cassieparks.com.